Federalism is a sharing of power between state and national governments. American federalism came about after discontent with the Articles of Confederation, which gave the states too much power. According to the Necessary and Proper Clause, the state governments had to follow all laws set by the national government. In 1817, the Second Bank of the United States opened a branch in Baltimore, Maryland. The state of Maryland tried to tax them as they were a financial institution. James McCullough, the head of this branch, refused to pay the tax, claiming the national government doesn't need to pay taxes to the state governments. The case was brought to the Supreme Court, where Chief Justice John Marshall ruled in favor of the national government, citing the Necessary and Proper Clause as allowing Congress to open a bank if they see it necessary. This case was very controversial, with many people claiming the Necessary and Proper Clause was too broad in its definition. During the heyday of steamboat travel in the 1820s, Aaron Ogden was granted an exclusive license from the state of New York to operate a steamboat carrying passengers from New York to New Jersey. At the same time, the federal government had already granted Thomas Gibbons a license to do the same thing. Ogden then sued and won in New York court. However, Gibbons took the case to the Supreme Court. Here, they overturned the decision. This case is very monumental because it allowed the federal government to regulate interstate commerce. The 10th Amendment, a part of the Bill of Rights, stated that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. During the 1920s, many states sought to improve child labor conditions. However, this proved ineffective in many states. So, while Congress was unable to regulate conditions of child labor, they could ban interstate commerce of product of child labor. Roland Dagenhart, a man who worked in a mill with his minor sons, appealed this to the Supreme Court. The ruling was that Congress had no ability under the Commerce Clause to regulate child labor. This was defended by the 10th Amendment since the law was not existing yet on a federal level. The New Deal was a series of new economic policies enacted under the presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt between 1933 and 1936. The new policies were on a nationwide level as the country was going through an economic depression. These new policies trumped state laws as they were meant to save the nation, as seen as necessary by Congress and defended by the Necessary and Proper Clause.